Hey gang, good morning again. Paul and I are doing this on Wednesday morning, and it's going to be a hot one today, so I hope each and every one of you stays inside. I think it's already in the 80s, and it's like about 10 o'clock in the morning, and so it's supposed to get to 90 today, so stay safe and stay cool. I will probably be in this office most of the day, due to the fact that as soon as Paul and I get done doing this, I'm going to turn the air conditioner on, and so it's going to be at least a little bit cool. However, I wanted to show you one of the things that that my spouse and I are doing is we are downsizing. I don't know if you ever heard of that word. It's when you get older and you decide that you don't need so much of the junk that you've accumulated, that you downsize. That's the nice technical word. There's a couple of other terms for it as well. One term is all the things that you kept knowing that your kids would someday want them, and 30 years later you find out that no, they don't want them at all. So we're starting to downsize. So I'm starting to look through containers and that, and I came up with this thing that I just wanted to show you today. And when I asked Paul what it looked like, his first thought was it was a baby bottle, but it actually is more of a clay jar type thing. But it is a replica in miniature form. It is a replica of one of the jars that contained one of the greatest archaeological finds in our Christian world, and that was the finding of the Dead Sea Scrolls in Qumran, along the shores of the Dead Sea. Now you need to know a couple of things about this jar. Number one, that the actual size of the jar that they would house some of the scrolls would probably be about this tall from the floor. And so they were at probably about this big around. They were huge things. The scrolls were found by accident in 1947. A Bedouin boy about 12, 13 years old. So 12, 13-year-olds here, you know, you can do some really great things if you try. Well, he knew he was in trouble, this kid, because he had probably fallen asleep and let a few of his uncle's goats kind of get away from him, from the flock he was guarding. And so he's up and he is just in trouble. And he's looking all over for his goats. And he goes to the edge of these cliffs, and he knows there's caves down there. And so he thinks to himself, you know what, I bet those goats maybe got down and got into one of these caves. So he gets a rope and he ties himself off and he shimmies down to the side. He grabs a rock and he fires it into this dark cave, thinking, well, maybe I'll hit a goat, and if I do, they'll yell or whatever the sound they make, and then I'll go in and I'll try to get them back up. Well, what he hears is what sounds like a jar breaking. Now to him, he thinks it's a ghost. And so he hightails it back up, and he goes and he finds his uncle, and he brings his uncle down with him. The uncle goes down and he finds a series of jars in this cave, all broken by wind, rain, weather. But inside these jars, he finds some in bits and pieces, some in their entirety, scrolls. Now, again, this is a scale thing, but this scroll that they have put in here is the entire scroll that was found in a jar. This is a scroll that contains the book of Isaiah. One of the books of the Old Testament that was found, the only book in Qumran that was found in its complete form, the entire book of Isaiah we have. In addition to that, they found at least pieces or parts of every other book in the Old Testament, with the exception of, I think, the book of Ruth. Other than that, they found portions of every scroll. And what made this the find of the first millennium was the fact that the scrolls that they found when they began to translate and read them, first and foremost, predated the oldest books that we had of the Old Testament by over 1,000 years. And they came to find out that these books were the same writings that we find as we pick up our Bible today and read from the Old Testament. So we know that as Jesus walked in to a synagogue and got up and began reading from one of the scrolls, he was reading the same scripture that we read today. An incredible find, and it was found by this 12 or 13-year-old kid who got scared, and he figured he'd better find out where his goats were, and came to make this incredible discovery. All total, there were 14 or 15 different caves. Just some amazing things. Sometime we'll have to do some video stuff with the Holy Land and that, because I've got a full segment on the caves of Qumran and the Dead Sea Scrolls. So gang, I hope you stay nice and cool today. I hope you have a great week. And remember, this Sunday morning, 9 a.m., we are having our very first outdoor / parking lot worship service. We hope that the morning is going to be a beautiful morning. We hope that the skies open up in the afternoon and we get a bunch of rain. But we want it nice and clear in the morning, 9 a.m. Make sure you get here early. I know that you guys have this, I don't even know what I want to call it, but this thing where you gotta come to worship 2 minutes before it starts. We really would ask that you come early on Sunday morning. And so that's going to give our ushers an opportunity to kind of get people placed, because we are going to use social distancing. If you want to sit outside, please make sure that you bring your lawn chairs and things like that. Our ushers, who will be disguised as council members, are going to be our AA team, and they're going to show you exactly where to go and everything else. So it's going to be a fun Sunday, just kind of to get together and to see each other again, alive and in person, and not on Memorex, or in this case, an iPad. Have a great day, folks. God bless you.